All right, welcome everyone to Scareticulous. Today we have some interesting news about Starfox. Apparently, Nintendo has seen fit to release a trailer for the new Starfox game. This has been long rumored for a while now that Starfox would be getting some kind of a new game, right? Some kind of a sequel, perhaps, or something like that. But what we found out yesterday is that what got released is a basically a kind of a reimagining of that original Star Fox game, which, as I understand it, is like what is it, the fourth remake at this point? Basically, they're all kind of like remaking the same game over and over. There's like a side by side comparison I want to show you guys. Look at this. Look at this stuff, right? So they have basically remade this game like three or four times now. And you have the same kind of intro thing right here. They have like this is on the DS, I think, 3DS, where they revamped the graphics. And here they just do it. It's like basically a remake, but it's still like taking that same game and kind of like reimagining what it was before. And a lot of people have a lot of thoughts as far as the new character designs. Okay, that's a huge talking point right now. People are criticizing Falco for having bird feet. They're criticizing Fox for looking like an incel. Um, you got this AR filter so you can be a VTuber, which I mean, it's pretty cool, I guess. The technology's cool, but it's nothing new, right? Nintendo's all about innovation, but this isn't innovating. This is just adopting something and putting it into your game that's already existed, right? This is nothing new. Some people are saying the new designs are inspired by the puppets from the Super Nintendo days, where they had that box art from back in the day, where they were basically used puppets to kind of advertise the game for marketing purposes. That's just what they decided to do. They didn't go with 3D. Back then they could have asked Rare or someone like, "Hey, can you make some 3D models of these guys?" But I think they just wanted to create puppets because it was easier for them. I mean, looking back on it, they look kind of weird and awkward, if I'm being honest. But they have a charm to them that's uniquely 90s, I would say. Very 90s kind of inspired. You have people bringing up the Star Fox, I think this is Star Fox Assault game, where, they look pretty, kind of cartoony here. Um, you know, you have these old models that I think they look decent. I'm not a huge fan because I'm not like a huge Star Fox fan in general. I'm gonna make that clear. Um, I never really got into the games. I liked Star Fox Adventures. That's probably like the least liked game in the whole franchise for various reasons, and I completely understand those reasons. It's basically, your guys' version of my nuts and bolts. It's the total departure of like what you would expect from a game in the franchise, right? So I get it. Now, I have some thoughts on these character designs and also Nintendo's strategy with this game, including everything from like the Mario Galaxy movie to this new game that's coming out, and the art direction they're deciding to go with. Um, and whether that's a positive or negative thing. So if you guys want to hear that stuff, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to get a little bit analytical here. Okay. So here are my opinions on this. So I'm going to say that I think this was a bad decision. That might seem obvious to some people, but you'd be surprised how contentious these designs are. It's not like, strictly one-sided. A lot of people, they like the new designs, they think they're cool, or they try to justify it and say, "Oh, it looks like the puppets from the Super Nintendo days, right? It looks like that." Um and some people are like, "No, these look awful. It looks like what is that? It looks like that weird little like fox creature, right?" You got these people coming out and saying it looks like that weird fox. I think I don't know if this is from like some meme or something, but and there have been some people who have taken it upon themselves to do kind of like redesigns of these designs that came out. Some people are also comparing it to Sonic the Hedgehog when he got that weird design, and then so many people complained that they changed the design of Sonic. Now Nintendo is not really they don't really listen to feedback. They're not going to change design just because people complain. They could have like a billion people complain, they'll still do whatever the hell they want. So that's not going to change anything. It's not like, this is a speak out so that Nintendo changes what they're doing. They're not going to change, right? However, it is still good, I think, to kind of voice your opinion on this stuff and kind of let Nintendo know. Because sometimes they do listen. Sometimes, I mean, I'll go back on what I said. Sometimes they do listen. Now, this game is releasing in like a month and a half. So they're not going to change the designs now. However, if enough people speak up about this redesign and like, the type of game they're giving you, I think they'll at least take that into consideration moving forward, just like they did with the other games that came before this, that I feel like they're, they do zig and zag based on user feedback. So here's what I'm going to say about this. First off, these are not based on the puppets from the Super Nintendo days. They're just not. If you look at those puppets, this is basically the framework that would dictate how the Star Fox crew looks from that point forward. Now, obviously, things have been, softened over the years. You have, the designs from the, hold on here. You have the designs from like the N64 and like, like Star Fox Assault and stuff like that. And let me see, where's an image of that? I know I saw that somewhere. Yeah, we'll just pick this, right? So you have like those designs where they're very cleaned up, kind of more aesthetically pleasing versions of those old designs. They don't look like puppets anymore. They look like they're created with 3D animation tools, right? So and then look, see like this, this is his Smash Bros design. This is clearly a kind of an anime kind of cartoony aesthetic, with a touch bit of realism in there just for like texture work and stuff like that. So you have a mostly cohesive kind of looking design here. Fox has humanoid hands, he has humanoid feet, he's got humanoid features, while still retaining the kind of like the snout of like a wolf and the tail and the ears and all that. But it's more suggesting those features. It's not saying this is 100% a wolf, like a fox, shooting people. It's more like a humanoid fox that is shooting, in space and stuff, right? So there is a difference, and I'm gonna touch a little bit on the furry culture side of things, because that stuff is very pervasive. And if you push things like too far humanoid, people start to like fetishize things and turn it into like this weird thing. And then if you push into this direction, see, and this is my problem with this design aesthetic, is that Falco here, right? He's got like kind of a humanoid build, right? He's got shoulders, which, you know, birds don't really have those looking shoulders. He's got the humanoid head with the bird beak, and he's got the talons with like the backward hind legs kind of thing. And then the feathers, they're shaped to look like hands, right? Like they made them look like hands. So it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. It's like, no, we want to have all the bird features in there and have it shaped like human things, except when it comes to the feet. I don't know why, except when it comes to the feet, because it's like it's so bizarre how you're gonna have everything else, right? And look at Fox's hand, right? Shaped like a human's hand. You're not gonna tell me that's a wolf's hand, right? It's not a wolf or a fox paw, right? Fox's paws don't look like human hands. So they want to give him human features when it suits them, and then like strip them out when it doesn't. See how Fox has the tiny little feet? Everyone's talking about the tiny little feet. That's like the biggest talking point right now. And some people have gone so far as to like replace his feet, the little fox feet, with like normal feet, and that looks right, because the rest of his design is trying to go for this like half human, half animal aesthetic, right? but it's like with the legs, they want to go full fox, which makes no sense with this design. I understand realism. I understand making a design more realistic, but you can't do half measures in some places and then full measures in other places, right? Like you can't have like full articulated human like hands and then like, normal, fox hind legs. That doesn't work. Like aesthetically, design wise, it doesn't work. You can't have human hands and then, it's just strange. It's a strange aesthetic, right? They're trying to go for this like weird middle ground of like humanoid features with, it's not realistic. This is not, they keep saying it's like, I think Miyamoto said in the video, like, we made, Fox look more realistic. No, you didn't make him more realistic. You made him look like Uncanny Valley. You made him look freaky and weird now, right? Where it's just strange looking. And here's the real style, okay? It has nothing to do with the box art from the Super Nintendo days, okay? It has nothing to do with that, okay? I'll tell you what the style aesthetic they were going for with this movie. You ready for it? This is the style aesthetic they were going for with this movie. Howard the Duck. Yeah, they were going for a Howard the Duck aesthetic where you have this weird middle ground between, animalistic features and humanoid features that creates this like bizarro looking version of, you know, a creature, some kind of creature that you're going for, right? But that back then at least they had like animatronics and stuff for that, Here it's like all CGI and stuff. So, with with this it looks so much more weird and bizarre, right? Especially like with CGI, you have the power to control the aesthetic. You have power to control like the size of the eyes, and some people have increased the size of the eyes and stuff to make it look. And I will say this that the fixes, all the fixes I've seen from people look better. They just do. They look aesthetically better because you guys are actually following what the aesthetic is supposed to be, right? Which is you're taking like this kind of half measure kind of thing with the the whole animal half human hybrid thing, right? But you're not making it in this uncanny valley thing where it looks like someone's wearing like this looks like someone's wearing like a wolf mask, like a person is wearing a wolf mask. It's just strange looking. This isn't realistic. That's not a realistic style. It's creepy style. That's what this is, okay? So I don't know exactly what they were going for with this, but it doesn't gel for me. And if they were really gonna go like this more like realistic direction where you had like these creatures looking like real animals, then you would have the bird like in this position where he's like pecking and like bent over and kind of like his head like more like his spine was more like a T-Rex, like or like a bird, right? That's what you that would be realistic. This is not real. This is creepy, uncanny valley. Now I understand the aesthetic of like them being in space. You can have these kind of gritty stories being told. I totally get that, right? Like they bringing James McLeod back, his father. He died in the past, and Fox is trying to like avenge his father's death or whatever, right? I vaguely remember the story. Don't give me shit if I get some details wrong. But basically that's what it is, right? And there's like these firefight missions in space, and it's like this, kind of hardcore sci-fi concept. I get that, right? But this is just weird. You're gonna tell me he's like handling this like soldering thing with like some feathery hands? I mean, come on. Like Slippy Toad couldn't do this job. He's at least got like fully articulated hands, right? Look, see, and this is the other thing, right? It's like they keep going like half measure. Like, see, Slippy Toad, he doesn't have like big, like gobbly like feet with like the how frog feet are with like they're big old like with like these, you know, big sucker kind of feet looking. He doesn't have that. He has normal humanoid looking feet, right? And then he's got these the sucker hands or whatever, like the whatever the hell, it's frog hands, but like still humanoid, right? It just looks bizarre. It's all half measures. You're not going fully in the direction of being realistic, and so it looks uncanny. It looks strange. Now, as for the direction of the game that they decided to take, which is this basically this reimagining reboot of Star Fox, I mean, it's so lazy. Like, I think this is what a lot of people were probably worried a new Star Fox game would be, is just like reimagining the N64 game again. Like just do the same, just do a remake of the N64 game, and then people will be happy because look, there's good graphics, except it looks weird. Again, like Star Fox looks like he has mental problems or something. I don't know. It's weird to look at. And if you're gonna go this, like, I didn't think they were really gonna go this style of game again, like the on rail shooter style. Like, I thought they would have done something a little bit more expanded, like more modern kind of concept. Instead, they kept it kind of mostly arcadey. It seems like they're trying to go that direction for their minor franchises. Like Kirby is still very arcadey. Star Fox are keeping arcadey. They want to keep these experiences more kind of like casual, I think. And if that was the direction they were trying to go, then how come they didn't keep the designs like familiar to people? Like, it's to be like, some people are saying they played it safe with the designs. I don't think they played it safe at all. That's not safe. Making them look like a real fox and a real bird with like talons and stuff. That's not safe. Safe would be making them look like Pixar or something. Like the most aesthetically pleasing to the eye, like cartoony animals, right? With like perfect humanoid features that look, very inoffensive. Here they took a lot of chances with the aesthetic. And I think it's because they wanted to go this like strange, uncanny valley, like realistic kind of direction with the graphics, right? Um, which is weird because Nintendo is not usually known for like really putting a lot into their graphics, right? Or really trying to impress with like realism. So it's a strange direction for Nintendo to go. The gameplay looks basically the same as Star Fox has ever looked. Like, this looks like the same as the sections I played in Star Fox Adventures, where they give you those little sections where you play for like 5 minutes and then you go to like the walking sections again. Um, Maybe it looks the same. It's the same gameplay, right? I would have thought they would have sections where you can explore worlds and shoot with like your ray gun and stuff like that, your laser gun. Um, but no, it's just the same on rails shooter experience. I mean, good luck trying to sell that. And I would say for the amount of people getting outraged over this, you guys better buy this game. Okay, I don't care how the fuck it looks. You better buy the game because otherwise Nintendo is gonna bury this franchise. Miyamoto, he put the Star Fox into Mario Galaxy specifically so you guys would buy this game. That's it's marketing, right? It's like, look, Star Fox, right? Now you remember it from the movie, and all the kids who haven't played Star Fox when they were little, they're like, "Oh, Mario Galaxy! I remember Star Fox. Mommy, can I buy the game?" That's what this is for. It's for the young kids. But if that's also, this is where it gets confusing, right? If that's what their plan was, why didn't they make the style of Star Fox look like he did in the movie? That's something I just don't understand. Like, you had this perfect redesign for Fox in the movie, right? Let's see. I know I have that somewhere. Yeah, here it is, right? On the right there. It's hard to kind of see, but you get what the new Star Fox looks like, right? You had this nice, aesthetically pleasing, kind of charming, cocky kind of design for Fox in the new Mario Galaxy movie, and they decided to make him look like that in the game. Somebody, listen, marketing and brand recognition, brand consistency is important. This is just business 101. And Nintendo doesn't seem to be putting a lot of thought or care into their brand consistency. Like, if you have Star Fox in the movie, people are going to be expecting Star Fox to look like that when they're going to buy a game, right? I think that's also why they kind of kept Mario looking very similar in the movies, so that again, the brand is consistent, right? He mostly looks the same in the movies with a tad bit more realism, right? Just a tiny bit to make it like sell the cinematic experience, right? So it doesn't look like a video game. And he looks like the games. He looks like basically how he looks in the games for the most part, right? But with Fox, they're like, well, we'll just do whatever the hell we want. We'll just make him look like a real ass fox in the game, and he looks like a cartoon in the movie because Illumination, right? He made the design. They made the design of Fox in the movie, but Miyamoto was seeing over everything, right? That's the thing that don't forget, okay? He's literally in this presentation presenting this game, and he oversaw the movie. This is when I wonder, when are people going to stop taking Miyamoto seriously? Because he just says and does so many weird, bizarre things, and people just take him as like the gospel because he created so many great franchises, which is amazing. Again, all the kudos in the world for creating those franchises, but that doesn't mean he made the right choice with all these games and everything down the line. He makes mistakes just like anyone else does, right? And Miyamoto, he made some design flaws, in my opinion. With when you cross reference this game with the movie, the design aesthetics are they're different, right? They're inexorably different from one another, and that's a problem. That's a problem as far as brand consistency and for people to be aware of this is your game, this is what you're trying to sell, right? And it's like now you're trying to sell these Mario and Star Fox in the same universe, and then you're going to release a realistic looking Fox McCloud game. It's just strange. It is just strange. And anyone who's justifying this, saying oh, it's fine, no, it's not, right? If this were like Beyond Good and Evil, this would be fine, right? That's fine aesthetic for that universe because that is going for kind of a weird kind of uncanny valley aesthetic. But Star Fox has always been more cartoony, right? The aesthetic, it works, right? Where you have these kind of this fantasy kind of cartoony Fox McCloud. He's going through the universe shooting guys and stuff, right? And they just dropped the ball. Look at this, right? Like it's just they did not know what they were doing. I don't know. They just let some team go and just just go create whatever you want. We don't care about the branding. We don't care if it doesn't sell. This game is probably gonna flop. I'm just saying. For so many people complaining about it, some people I think are actually not gonna buy the game just because it looks like this. They legit, and the fact that the gameplay is not really selling it either. This is the same game as before, right? Except for with online features, and some facial features. It's people can play the old Star Fox game on the Switch, right? On the Switch, Switch 2. You can buy that membership thing and just play the old game, right? Now, you'll probably have some people buying it. I'm not saying it's not going to move any copies, but you'll probably, I guess, maybe 1 million copies of this game. If that. This is not gonna make sales, and I think they know that's why they made it for $50. So you can buy it on the site for $50. Supposedly is what I heard. I didn't go check for myself, but I'm pretty sure that's that's the what it is. Let's see here. Let's see this link. Star Fox. Let's see here. Can 49? Yeah. 49.99. There you go. See? Rumors were true. So, yeah, I guess if you're interested in this game, go buy it. You can pre-order. It comes out June 20th or something like that, June 25th. I'm not gonna buy this. Sorry. I was never a huge fan of Star Fox, and this game is not gonna convert me. It's not gonna suddenly make me a fan. So it is what it is. I think that the design aesthetic is weird. I think if you're a hardcore Star Fox fan, you'll buy this game, right? For $50, you should just buy it just so that Nintendo knows that Star Fox is still a brand that people want to keep, people want to keep buying and want to keep around, right? They put him in the Mario Galaxy movie. I would have thought they would have tried to at least keep the brand consistent between the movie and the game. It's like Miyamoto's seeing over both those things, and what is he doing? What is Miyamoto thinking? I don't know. But anyway, If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. I will see y'all next time on Scareticulous. Until then, stay scared.